Hi, I'm Kat Bell, and today I will be doing some Harry Potter inspired crafts. This is my sister's original copy of Sorcerer's Stone, and it sadly has seen some better days. More on that story later. Regardless, I will be turning this into a golden snitch, and I'm going to make a couple of bookmarks out of some of the pages. And I will start with the book first. For the bookmarks, I'm going to be using some tape and scissors, and of course, some ripped out pages of the book to do this basic lamination hack I have seen, where you just use strips of clear tape to completely cover whatever your design is, and then you stick more tape on the back, pressing it in between, which kind of gives a lamination effect without actually having lamination paper. Now, normally I'm against destroying books in any way, even doing the little dog ear bookmark thing. But in this case, the book was already messed up, and we have another copy, so it's kind of okay. I've basically been saving this book since we got the new copy in order to do these kinds of art projects with it. And that brings us to the story on what happened to the poor defenseless book. And I want to start off with, it was not my fault. Just want to be very clear. Was an accident. So what happened was, I borrowed the book from my sister, and I was reading it in the living room, minding my own business. And then I don't remember exactly what happened, but I was distracted from the reading. I don't know if someone called me or if, like I said, I was just distracted by something. But I sat it down, and rather than sitting it like on the coffee table or somewhere safe, me being the smart child I was, decided to sit it down on the chair that I was in. And the chair in the living room is also the chair that is closest to the door. So anytime anyone walks in and has a bunch of stuff, the chair is where it gets sat down on. So I left the book unattended in the place where everyone puts their stuffed chair, and then promptly forgot about it. Later, my aunt came, and obviously she has all her stuff and sets her bags down on that chair where the book is. Later, when remembering, oh yes, I was reading, I went to go find the book. And that's when it was discovered that my aunt had a can of Coke in the bag. And the Coca-Cola can decided to explode at some point and get all over her bag, all over her stuff, all over the chair, and all over the book. It was so bad that the cover came clean off. And that's why, if you look closely at the opening of this video, you can see a bunch of tape all over the cover. And that was because me being 7-8 and my sister being furious that I destroyed her book, was like, oh, I can fix it. And so I tried taping it up, and it wasn't good. I taped it crooked. It was bad. And also, I was just using like regular gift wrapping tape. It wasn't even good tape. It was just a mess. She was so mad at me, and it was like a couple weeks. She wouldn't talk to me. She'd barely look at me. I was so upset. But she got a new copy of the book, and I was forgiven. Though it was several years later before I was able to borrow another book from her. And every time I would look at her books, she'd give me this stare. And it was like, if I looked at her books too hard, I would get in trouble. It was it was a bad time for me. But yeah, that's what happened. And since she got the new book, and that was like, a couple back to the crafting itself. Basically what I did was just tear out the pages that I was going to be using and just gently extracted the pieces that I'm going to be using for this piece. And like I said, you can do anything you want really with this lamination process. And overall, I think the bookmark came out pretty good. And I used for this bookmark basically the first chapter of the book and then the last chapter. As for the golden snitch, this was, I don't even remember when I got this, but it was a Ferrero Rocher thing, and I forget how many came in it, but basically this is just a giant Ferrero Rocher, and inside was a bunch of ones you can actually eat. And I kept it because I was like, oh, this looks very reminiscent of a golden snitch. So my idea was like, oh, I'm just gonna make it into a giant one, and then never did. So I'm finally doing it. And I think it came out pretty good. I saw the how to make a feather technique. It was like a Thanksgiving thing that I had just seen recently. But it just used colored duct tape over a like pen or pencil and just cut it into more of a feather shape. So it's not just square like a rectangle. And then just cut out the, I don't know what they're called, but it's like a little bristle kind of the feather, and to give it more shape and more realism. So it was basically the same thing I did, but I just used regular silver duct tape. It's not clear on golden snitch's wings what color they actually are. I've seen pictures where they're white or silver or just gold like the rest of the snitch. So I decided like, silver. It's the most available color of duct tape anyway. It's what I have at home. It looks fine. And I was going to hot glue it onto the plastic, but I was scared of melting the plastic, so I decided to duct tape it on. Though I might go back and do it in gold. I'm pretty sure they have gold duct tape as well. Overall, both projects worked out fairly well. Although it did take basically like a half hour to do 2 5-minute crafts, so not sure if that says something about the crafts or more something about me. But anyway, see you in the next one. Bye!